Minister.
And in this bar.
Welcome to another episode of Hard Lessons with Demel Hannah. I am your host, Demel Hannah. Today, I would like to talk to you about doing long stretches in segregation. Going to segregation, whether you're a model prisoner, a gang member, a sex offender, it's inevitable. You're going. You are going to see the inside of the segregation unit. You might not go to what they call on California the SHU, the security housing unit, because segregation and the SHU or segregation where I'm from, we call it AD, administrative detention. Same thing as the SHU on the West Coast. It's different. It's different. Like the SHU is different from segregation. I'm sure, if y'all watch some of the, some of other channels, I'm sure those guys explain it. I'm going to explain to you guys how segregation and AD is different. But first, I want to just emphasize that going to segregation in the penitentiary, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Disrespect is going to happen, sooner or later. I mean, disrespect in the penitentiary is like walking and talking and chewing bubble gum. It happens frequently. You know what I mean? So going to segregation is inevitable, and doing long stretches in segregation is it depends on the individual. But you go fight. Somebody is going to disrespect you, whether it be on the basketball court, at the chess table, at the card table, something. That's why they eliminate a lot of intermingling with different organizations and different races. They don't want you intermingling with, because it minimizes the bullshit. It avoids bullshit from occurring. If you're just congregated with your own, y'all might get into a verbal spat, but it's never going to become physical. And if it does, which is not oftentimes, if it does, y'all know there's going to be great consequences behind y'all two putting y'all hands on each other. So you're going to be less willing to fight your own opposed to someone else. So segregation is going to happen. When I did 14 months in Cook County, I did about, they give you 20, they used to, when I got locked up 97 to 99 in Cook County, they wouldn't give you like a month segregation or they'll give you 29 days and let you out. And if they gave you, for instance, they gave me 629s one time. I got into it with a few correction officers. I lost that. I don't know what the hell I thought I was doing, trying to fight, the system. Within the system, you're going to always lose, I promise you. I was trying to fight the system within the system physically. You're going to always lose. But I did. They kicked my ass very severely bad. They whooped my ass. They whooped my ass real bad. But they gave me 629. So this is how I would go. I would go to segregation. They'd come get me. Hannah, pack your shit. You're going to segregation. That's how they be. So they would come and get me, and they would take me to segregation. I would do 29 days. And segregation in Cook County is different than segregation in the penitentiary. I'm going to tell you why. In segregation in Cook County, you take all your property with you. Whatever you got, you take it. You know what I mean? You take it with you. And in the penitentiary, it don't go like that. If you got food, it's not going in segregation with you. If you got a TV or radio, it's not going in segregation with you. Unless, in Illinois, unless you would get your TV like 14 days later. If you went to segregation in Illinois and you was under, I think they still do it, I'm not sure. But if you went to segregation under investigation, like if they just came and got you and told you to cuff up and you said, well, I'm going to segregation, they like, you'll find out when you get there. And you don't find out until probably the next day. They give you it's not really an infraction, because if you on an investigation, they give you a notice. They give you a notice of why your ass has been placed in the segregation unit under investigation. They give you a notice just saying investigative status. So if you're under investigative status, you can't request to have all your property with the exception of your food. They not gonna let no food back there in their segregation units, but they'll give you your TV, your radio, electronic appliances, fans, stuff like that. But if you that's in the penitentiary. But if you go to the segregation, like you fighting or you assaulted the police or you got caught with drugs, you ain't getting shit. They go give you the basic minimum of your property. They go give you, they ain't gonna give you no pen. They ain't gonna give you no pen because the pen you use in general population is not the pen that's allowed back there in segregation. And the pen that you lose in general population, you could purchase those off the commissary. The pen that you use in segregation, you can't purchase those. They gotta give them to you. They little bitty ass state pens that bend. It's so hard to write with them, but I did so much time in segregation, I mastered the art of writing with those little bitty ass pens in segregation. But in Cook County, you do 29 days, you get out a day, they take you back. 29 days, get out. They gave me 629s for fighting the police. I did 3 29s, and then I had somewhat of a meeting with the superintendent, and he asked me, had I learned my lesson? And of course I said yes. Of course I learned my lesson. I got my ass whooped. Lesson well taught. I got that ass whooped. You know what I mean? And he told me, like, if you come back to segregation, you're gonna leave here to whatever penitentiary you're going to. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I did. I went back to segregation for something, man. It was petty. But from there, I went to court. I got sentenced. So I went to the joint from segregation. But you're gonna now, what determines you doing long stretches in segregation? Well, the severity of whatever incident that you commit while in general population. If you assault somebody and you beat them damn near to death, or you beat them to death, your ass gonna be sitting in segregation until further notice. They're gonna give you indefinite segregation. They can do that. Indefinite segregation, basically, the only people that can release you out of segregation is a committee. The committee is sanctioned in Springfield, and they go based off your all the infractions that you caught leading up to you being put under permanent segregation, being placed in permanent segregation, They're going to evaluate all those, and they're going to evaluate your time while you've been placed under indefinite segregation. So the severity of the incident based on the physicality, if it has something to do with drugs, they're not gonna give you indefinite segregation for drugs. They'll just give your ass a case if they catch you with an abundance amount of drugs. They'll give your ass a case. They go try to squeeze you, of course, to see who's helped you admit those drugs into the institution. If you don't divulge, then they will place you on an investigation. They may ship you to another institution, to a high-level institution, depending on what institution you're in, or just transfer you from max to max. Because if you've been caught with an abundance amount of drugs and you haven't divulged who have helped you, assisted you get those drugs into the institution, then you're a convict. They don't like convicts in their institution, so they're going to send your ass out of their institution to another one, and you're probably going to do a year or two in their segregation unit. But doing long stretches in segregation is inevitable. You're going to do them. You're going to do them. You know what I mean? You're going to do them. You could be a legal head, someone that just helps people with their legal work because you've been impassioned to help people that don't know how to help themselves. They will place your ass in indefinite segregation status because you're just a brilliant mind, and they don't want you teaching, the masses. So doing long stretches in segregation is inevitable. You know, it's inevitable. If you are a brilliant mind, if you severely harm someone, if you get caught with, narcotics, if you are a predator, they'll place your ass in indefinite segregation. If you have caught multiple infractions where it's been deemed that you are a predator, you are someone that preys on people, you are a sexual deviant, they will place your ass in indefinite segregation to protect the public. And the public is those individuals that just can't defend themselves, and there's a lot of those in prison. I don't care whether they be gang members, neutrons, or whatever. There's a lot of individuals in prison that just can't protect themselves. So doing long stretches in segregation is inevitable. Don't cry about it. This is what you chose. This is what you wanted. So this is what you get. A lot of these gangs, these guys know each other. Like the gang leaders, they know each other. They politic. For instance, if